So it's been about a week since the reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2, and let me tell you, it feels really good to be hyped for a console like this. Like, as much as I like the PS5, it never really got me this hyped just for the fact that I've been on PC since 2018. But this console, the Switch 2, shows extreme promise, and today I'll be sharing 5 things I think Nintendo definitely needs to incorporate to take this successor console to the absolute next level. And if you find yourself enjoying this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Switch 2 content like this. I'm going to be covering a bunch of the games, all of its news, all of its hype. So if that really interests you, make sure you guys stay tuned. But I'm not going to hold this up any longer. Let's get right into the video. All right, so the first thing I absolutely need to mention, because this was an extreme missed opportunity for the original Switch, you should already know, it's themes. It was such a great way to customize your console to your liking, and there are so many official options to choose from. And with the modding scene, it even expanded upon that. But for the Switch, when I first got it, I was completely under the impression that we're going to get themes. And I believe everybody else was. Like, there was no way Nintendo would leave this theme section blank for 8 years, right? But here we are, 8 years later, and just light and dark mode. And don't get me wrong, I love my dark mode, but please, Nintendo, stop acting like you don't want money. This is free cash, an amazing way to just allow people, like, it's just going to make people happy. Nintendo, make the people happy, add themes on the Switch too. I feel like in so many ways, Nintendo's ahead of the curve when it comes to gaming, but the exact same opposite thing can be said, and this brings me to my next point, is that the Switch 2 needs native party features. It's 2025, and they really need to step their game up in this regard because the Nintendo app either needs to go or it needs a complete overhaul. Because to expect somebody to use the freaking voice app on select games when Discord exists is just nonsense. It's complete nonsense. And I believe the functionality that that app provides is significantly less than what Sony provides, what Microsoft provides, even what Steam provides. And it's either you implement your own native party system, just like we had back in the 360 era, or you cut Discord a check and you say, add Discord to the Switch. And either option I'm personally fine with, but having voice chat on the phone for like Splatoon, although I don't play Splatoon, it's just nonsense. And not only that, for online games, please, we need a native invite system, just like we've had, like I said, since the 360 era. If I want to play Mario Kart, if I want to play Pokemon, I should be able to just invite my friend from wherever. They can press the little home button, join in my game, and then we can play rather than having to do this whole putting in codes and everything. It just feels archaic at this point. If you're not into leaks, that's perfectly fine. I haven't been really keeping up with them, but you know, every time you scroll on Twitter, you might see a little something. But with the Switch 2's increase in power, it leads me to believe that the leak of third-party titles that I'm seeing could be potentially true, which brings me to my next point. And the Switch 2 definitely needs to step up its third-party support when it comes to larger titles. And this trend, and I want to bring up a trend that needs to end. It needs to go. No more cloud games. This trend of cloud games for bigger titles, in my opinion, it needs to end. No more, no more, no more. And personally, I think they're a joke. And while it might be better to offer something rather than nothing, if a game has to be cloud-based on the Switch, it's as good as not being there at all, in my opinion, personally. But what gives me the confidence in this either being a better generation for Nintendo is, like how we mentioned, more power and DLSS support, which should definitely bring enough to the table to actually have playable experience for some titles that would either be seen as just cloud games or games that would have missed the console in general. And some of the games that are being discussed for the Switch 2 are games like Elden Ring, GTA 5 and 6, AC Mirage, Rainbow Six Siege, Cyberpunk. These are all intensive titles that if Nintendo really wants to get the Switch 2 to the next level and compete, they need to be competent and playable titles. And the days are gone where Nintendo had the luxury of being like the only main real handheld console out there. And even though first-party titles are more compelling enough for me to get this system, if others aren't so enthralled with the first-party titles, they will have other options this go around, like the Steam Deck, like the ROG Ally, and many other consoles. So Nintendo, if you really want to compete, make sure these third-party titles are legitimate. Now, I got to get another obvious point out the way. And it's not that I'm concerned about it per se, but battery life. And I think we should probably expect similar battery life to the release Switch and not the red box. Now, don't quote me on that, but it's just my initial thoughts on seeing the leaked specs and hybrid nature. And I hope to see some improvements in battery life, especially since if, you know, the rumors are true of there being a DLSS type technology being utilized, it should definitely help in the power draw of the games. And if this is the case, I hope we see more respectable battery lives, since the games necessarily won't need as much power to put out raw performance when it'll be aided by upscaling technology. And I think in a perfect world, they'd probably improve upon the battery life of the Switch OLED, taking it from about 4.5 hours, 4.5 to 9 hours on one charge to maybe about 6 to 12 on the Switch 2. Now, that just might be wishful thinking on my part, but I think it's very interesting to note, especially since the games are going to be getting larger and more intensive. So hopefully this will be supplemented with a greater battery life. One thing I think that could potentially solidify the Switch as the king of all handhelds is, of course, OLED, man. And now I'm partially joking when I say that, because to many people, they probably really don't care about OLED. But for me, it's really brought my Switch experience to the next level. And this may not matter to some, but if you really want to make the Switch to a premium device, the OLED screen just does it so much justice, man. The colors just pop more. The blacks are night and day difference when you compare it to the original Switch models. And as a person who plays their Switch 98% handheld, I really get the most benefit from it, since playing on a TV is a rare occurrence for me. Now, asking for a Switch version when we haven't even seen the base console yet might be looking too far ahead, but upgrading from the Switch, the original LCD Switch to the OLED is something I would do 10 times out of 10 times. And is it completely necessary? No, but this is my list, man, and I'm the nerd who bought, I bought this Switch. My sister has my original Switch. This is my girlfriend's. My sister has my Redbox Switch. I sold my original Switch, and we have a Switch Lite just sitting here. So believe me, I need my OLED. But for maximum enjoyment, OLED is a great luxury, and Nintendo has already proven to do it. But my real wish would be OLED, 120 hertz screen, but you won't find me putting money on Nintendo doing that. Also, I think limited editions would be fantastic. I mean, the Nintendo did really good with the Switch limited editions. I think, overall, I think we're fine. Yeah, sometimes there's just a little Joy-Con difference, but, in the background design. But overall, I think more limited editions always. Who doesn't love limited editions? Even if you just look at them, they're perfectly fine in my book. Now, I know that was 5 things already, but the last and really what I'm really interested to see how Nintendo handles this is going to be the Switch Online service. So I would love to see during the Switch 2 era a true expansion of this service. Now, Nintendo really needs to learn how to not be so damn stingy with their legacy titles. Like, if you're going to have this service, make sure you put out the games in a rate that is either increased or just return back to the virtual console model, just like on the 3DS and the Wii U. I mean, many people will be more than happy to pay for the same game 3, 4, 5, 6 times at this point. And with the Switch 2's increase in beef, GameCube. Like, I know Nintendo might want to refrain from doing this just for the sake of doing remasters, but we're long overdue for GameCube. And just overall, put more games on the system, increase the release cadence. I know Game Boy games was a great addition, but there needs to be significantly more titles to really make the service feel like not just an afterthought when it comes to these virtual console games. But that's going to wrap up this video, everybody. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. What are some things you want to see in the Nintendo Switch 2, whether they're realistic or not? Personally, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Nintendo Switch 2 content like this, because I'm going to be trying to pump out as much as I can, because like I said, I am really excited for this console, and in terms of gaming, this is like the only thing that I'm really looking forward to right now. So stay tuned, more videos on the way. If you enjoyed, like I said, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. More videos are coming. So I appreciate you guys. Peace.